Hello everybody, I am Fuzzyface and welcome back to this Ferrari challenge. Once again, we've got our home Grand Prix at Monza coming up. The Maranello outfit heading up the road a little bit to the outskirts of Milan for the Monza Grand Prix, the Italian Grand Prix. So hopefully we can get another 1-2 here. The first season we lost out here, just I think we finished second, and Raikkonen finished a lot further behind that. We've got, obviously this season we've got Charles Leclerc, Mick Schumacher doing absolute wonders here in this Ferrari car, this 2018 car. In the downtime, meanwhile, Mick Schumacher's title hopes have been thrown into chaos. He's already so far behind, whereas now he has got back problems, which has affected his rating a little bit. Not as much, but he's lost about half a star. Puts him more back on the track with Charles Leclerc. But he does now have the better car because the parts that he's got have finally been upgraded. So he does now have a little bit of a faster car than Charles Leclerc. So we'll see how that works out for him. But what he has lost is smoothness. I don't know whether it's dropped any more to the point where it's going to cost him a little bit more on his tyre wear. He's already a little bit worse with his tyre wear than Charles Leclerc. His consistency's dropped 3 points as well. His adaptability's dropped as well. But we haven't put any new cars in these cars for quite a while. The newest part, no, it's not even going in Charles Leclerc's car, is it? And his fitness has dropped from a 13 to a 10. So towards the end of the race, his performance is going to drop a little bit more. So if he's chasing Leclerc at the end of the race, he's not going to be able to possibly get past him because his fitness has dropped here. But we're just going to see, he really needs a good start. Over the last couple of races, even more than the last couple of races, he's really slow at getting off the line, which has cost him a lot of wins here. He would possibly be first in the driver's standings if it wasn't for those really bad starts, because they are both in really equal cars. I try not to favour one over the other. There's no real difference between the cars. Obviously one's got a better engine, one's got a better gearbox, but overall they should be doing about the same times. So that way it is just the driver rating, it's their own performance which is going to affect the result. And because Schumacher has been having such bad starts, it has really played into the hands of Charles Leclerc here. If Charles Leclerc can get out in front, his tyres go longer, he's easier on the fuel, so he can save fuel and push a lot more. And that is the reason that Schumacher's so far behind. But anyway, we're going to jump into Monza now. Everyone's happy with the car. If we go here, look, awesome, my car is better than Charles's. So Mick Schumacher's got the slightly better car. 6% happy, 8% happy. That's what we usually get them to, about as close as we can to each other. But this time Schumacher does have the slightly better car. So we'll see if that impacts his performance any. We're going to try something a little bit different from the start. We're going to try going all the rest from the start, see if that gets him a better start. If that doesn't work, then for the next race we're going to go for neutral. We're going to go in the yellows at the start just to see if we can get him off the line any quicker. I don't know if it's any of the stats that impact the start, but there doesn't seem to be anything. Whether focus plays into it a little bit, I don't know. But I thought focus was more for crashes and things like that, or locking up, but you know, smoothness comes under locking up as well. But impacts the driver's mindset. Maybe if the focus is a lot better, you could be classed as making a mistake at the start, couldn't he? Is Charles Leclerc a little bit better? He's 13 as well, so you would think he'd be making mistakes if that was the stat that affected it. But we're going to jump into Monza now. We're going to run qualifying, practice, all that, and we'll come back once we're in time for the grid just to see where we've finished up, and we'll start the race from there. So here we go with the grid for the 2018 Monza Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc gets pole position once again. Mick Schumacher just over 1/10 of a second behind him. Even though Schumacher now has the better car, he's still struggling against Leclerc. Obviously that stat degradation that's happened because of that trait has impacted his performance here. It has impacted him in another way. It is to do with the tyres. Now on the soft tyre, for this race at least, we're going to do it in one stop for both cars. Both cars are still going to be able to use a soft tyre, but Mick Schumacher can get 8 laps out of a soft tyre. Charles Leclerc meanwhile can get 10 laps out of a soft tyre. So that smoothness rating has really impacted the performance of his tyre. His tyre is going to degrade a lot quicker, so unless he's in front of Charles Leclerc pretty early on here, it's going to be a pretty tough race once again for Mick Schumacher. Other than that, on the second row of the grid we've got Daniel Ricciardo in the Red Bull, Vettel in the Mercedes as usual, followed by Max Verstappen in 5th, Nico Rosberg in the Williams in 6th place, Nico Hulkenberg, Kimi Raikkonen in the Force Indias on the 4th row of the grid, Lewis Hamilton up into 9th in the McLaren ahead of Valtteri Bottas in the Williams on the 6th row. We've got Daniel Juncadella in the other Silver Arrow. The Renault making its first appearance on the grid with Fernando Alonso in 12th, Roman Grosjean in the Toro Rosso 13th, his teammate just behind him, Julian Palmer, Marcus Ericsson in the Renault 15th, Pascal Wehrlein in the Manor, the other McLaren of Louis Delatraz 17th, John-Eric Verne in the Manor in 18th, and the racing engineering cars back to the back of the grid, Jack Aitken, Norman Nato 19th and 20th here. So let's just hope, as you can see, we'll just pause it a second, we're going full attack and overtake from the start here to see if that gives Schumacher a little bit of a better start. He's off the line a little better than he has been doing recently. Is he going to be able to get past Charles Leclerc? We're only going to give him a few corners like this, and he's struggling at the moment. Ricciardo challenging, but Ricciardo backs off there. Schumacher manages to stay ahead here. We're going to have to turn down here. We don't want to burn too much fuel. As you can see, Schumacher has already burned off quite a lot more fuel than what Charles Leclerc has done. So we're going to have to try conserve now at some point. So Schumacher with a lot of work to do here to get in front of Charles Leclerc. This is a track we're going to be really quick at because of these. There's only a few tight corners at this track. And over the over high speed and over the straights, we've just got a massive advantage over every other car because we're super quick in a straight line with this Mercedes. We've just got to be careful with the tyre wear here. We've just got to be really careful with the tyre wear on this Ferrari with Schumacher. As we can see, his tyres are wearing down a lot quicker than Charles Leclerc's are doing. We do want to see him through to about the 8th lap. He really needs to get to about the 8th lap. So we're struggling at the moment. The temperature's pretty low. That's why we're struggling to get some life in, to get some heat in these tyres. We're going to have to go medium. We'll go medium as well with Charles Leclerc just to even things up a little bit. We do want to see Schumacher get through to about lap 8. But at the moment he's about 1.5 seconds behind. Mercedes have turned down their engine, so we should start pulling away from them pretty soon. Here we go, it's Charles Leclerc starting to pull away here. He's not that far ahead, but he's slightly getting ahead. No, Schumacher coming back. They're seeming to keep about the same distance. It's going to come down to what these cars can do in the pits when they come in for their pit stops. Schumacher is going to come in a little bit earlier because his tyres are going to go a little bit quicker than Charles Leclerc's. Maybe that can give him a boost whilst when he comes out of the pits, because he's going to have a fresher set of tyre. He's going to have the fresher set of tyres for a couple of laps over Charles Leclerc. Maybe that can get him the time to overtake Charles Leclerc. He is gaining a little bit at the moment, but he is actually going to have to turn down as well, which is going to affect him. But he's going to push until he has to come into the pits. He's going to have to pit on this lap. It's going to be a long way off. He could really do with going another lap here, but he's going to have to pit and then hope that he can get the other soft tyre through to the end of the race. It's going to be pretty touch and go here. Yeah, he's going to have to pit, otherwise he's going to lose too much time to Charles Leclerc. He's going to come in early. It's going to be 9 laps after this. He can possibly just about do it if we look after the tyres a little bit more. Obviously, he does want to try and set some quicker laps and chase down Charles Leclerc, who doesn't have to turn down his engine at all here. So let's just see. Schumacher back out into 8th. Hopefully he's not going to get held up by any of these other cars as he chases Charles Leclerc. Leclerc, meanwhile, at 29%. We might as well pit him as well. So if Schumacher was doing this real life, he'd possibly go overtake. He'd possibly do everything he could. We're not going to go attack because we don't want these tyres wearing out. So Leclerc comes into the pits. Schumacher is, and Leclerc's on his way out of the pits. Where's Schumacher going to be? Behind him. He's just behind him. Look at that. Schumacher really challenging here, but he can't keep his engine mode like this for too much longer. We are going to have to turn down with him now to this point. So Schumacher just there, just couldn't get past Leclerc. Leclerc's possibly going to start to pull away now. Schumacher does a 1:09.7, a nice quick lap, but not enough to get on the back of Charles Leclerc here. Leclerc all the way out in front. We've done all our pit stops for this. We're going to turn down with Charles Leclerc now. He's still got plenty of fuel left that he can manage this race like this. Vettel, Hamilton has yet to pit in 4th, Ricciardo 5th, Alonso 6th, Rosberg 7th, Verstappen in 8th, Raikkonen 9th, Verline up in the points, although he's still got to pit as well, I think. Yes, he does. There's just a couple of laps here. Leclerc goes quickest with a 107.4 to Schumacher's 108. So Schumacher's still really struggling here. He's still possibly, they're rated about similar at the moment. Schumacher's going to be like this for Spa as well. He's still going to have this back injury. But after that, he should be back to full performance, and he is a better rated driver, but he's just really struggling against Charles Leclerc this season. Maybe next season his stat progression will have advanced a lot further than Charles Leclerc's. So maybe next season he will be at a point where he's a lot better than Charles Leclerc. Maybe he can pick up some of the momentum that he's lost this season. He's currently 4 seconds behind. He's going to start dropping behind a little bit soon. Is he still dropping? 4.3. He's actually dropping down here. We've got 4 laps remaining. We're going to have to run low mode as well with Mick Schumacher at some point just to try and recover some of this fuel. So it looks like Charles Leclerc has got another win here. He's almost at the point where unless he crashes out, it's going to be his title. I think this will be his 7th win. Leclerc's won 7 races. Schumacher's won just the 2 this season. He's really been struggling with his starts. He made a decent start today. It still wasn't enough to get in front of Leclerc. Leclerc just absolutely tearing it up. 2 laps remain. He's going to turn down now to low. Schumacher's going to have to go low mode as well to recover all this fuel. So they've about got the same fuel level here. Schumacher's tyres are actually pretty worn here, aren't they? He did really struggle. He had to come in early. He's going to have to run backup mode. I think the drop off for these tyres is 15% for the soft, so Schumacher's really struggling with his tyres this time out. Although Vettel is a long way behind him. That is just that smoothness stat. It's really coming back to haunt. It's really coming back to haunt Mick Schumacher at the moment. That is the one thing that he really needs to improve on, is that smoothness trait, because it is costing him with the tyres. Leclerc finishes the race first. Schumacher comes across the line in second. Vettel is going to finish third. Ricciardo fourth. Over Red Bull, Verstappen looks like he's going to claim fifth. Rosberg in sixth. Raikkonen across the line in 7th. Hamilton now quite a bit further behind. No, he's finished as well. Hamilton, Hungerberg, Bottas rounds out the top 10. And the other Mercedes are junking down, are still outside the points here. So another win there for Charles Leclerc. Schumacher's going to have to really pull something out of the bag here. He's got another race where he's still got this back injury. It's going to be Spa. That should be coming up to later today at 5 PM. We're going to see if Schumacher can go ahead and win there. Maybe, since Charles Leclerc's been winning a bit more, maybe we'll give Schumacher one more part. That's a little bit better. We might give him a little bit more better car than Charles Leclerc. He does have the better car at the moment, but maybe we'll just push him along a tiny little bit more. Just whilst he's got this back injury, we'll try and give him a little bit of more of a better car. He's got the best car by about 15-20 points, I would say, at the moment. Maybe if we give him the better rear wing, maybe that would help him at Spa, especially since we've got places like the Kemmel Straight where we've got that long straightaway and a little curve up the end. Maybe that will help him around there, just to see if that helps him out a little bit more, or just see whether Leclerc is just having an absolute stormer of a season this season. Maybe Leclerc's still going to beat him anyway. But anyway, the fastest lap from Charles Leclerc, 107. We didn't really push the car. The Mercedes did a 107.9, quicker than any lap that Schumacher did. Pretty interesting there. Scrutineering, we don't have any problems with our car. No one else is having any problems with their car. Red Bull have got over their thing. They did, was it 2 races ago? Was it Monaco? Anyway, one of the races, Ricciardo got demoted 6 places. Verstappen got demoted 8 places, so they had some sort of nightmare. They were running some really dodgy car there. But at first and second, Charles Leclerc now has a 35-point gap over Mick Schumacher, so it's going to need him to really make mistakes in 2 races for Schumacher to pull up that sort of distance. Meanwhile, we've got a 246-point lead over Red Bull. Williams still sticking to 3rd place here. Mercedes 10 points behind them. McLaren just creeping a little bit further in front of Force India, who are now pulling away from Toro Rosso. Renault, meanwhile, look like they've got 8th place secured. Manor look like they've got 9th place secured, and Racing Engineering, it looks like they're going back down to GP2 to be replaced by either Art, who are winning GP2 by a comfortable margin at the moment, but Sauber are coming back strong, so maybe Sauber might be coming back up next season. There we go, everyone's still happy. We're almost at the point where we can unlock the second mechanic trait. Both drivers still happy. 3.2 million going into the bank. We've now got over 21 million pounds, almost at the 22 million pound mark. So it really needs something special from Schumacher to pull himself back into this title challenge here. 35 points, whilst it doesn't seem a lot, it is quite a lot, but because since our cars finished first and second most of the time, that is 5 races that Schumacher would need to win if Leclerc finished second in all those races just to pull even. It's not impossible for him to do. He's going to have the better car from now on, just to see whether Leclerc can hold on to things with that sort of setup. It's not going to be much of a better car, but it should be enough where they both pull even a little bit more. I want to try and get the cars as even as possible, get them performing as even as enough. Then we've got both cars pretty close to each other. It makes the races a little bit more interesting, not just for myself, but hopefully for you as well. Car condition, race win, hard fought win, and yeah, so that's it. So we've got Spa coming next time. I don't think we've got any sponsors coming due. They're running out in a couple of races. Neither of these we managed to get 5-star sponsors for anyway, so even though we're at 4-star sponsors, we might be able to improve on Oris. Machiavelli must just improve to win a title, so if we win a title with him, it's going to get him to 100% if he wins the title, which will give us 5-star sponsors back next season. Schumacher improving and Leclerc staying low will still keep us at 4 stars, so maybe that is a reason to try and give Leclerc the win. Well, not giving the win, but that would be the upside of Leclerc winning this season and aim for Schumacher winning next season, give them 1 apiece. Might be the best plan to go with going forward, but anyway, we should be getting the HQ built for the next episode. We've got the staff centre coming up, Tour Centre, just in 2 days, but we'll be back next time for Spa. So thanks once again for everybody for subscribing, liking, commenting on all my videos. It's very much appreciated. But until next time, I will see you down the road in Belgium for the Spa Grand Prix, and good luck that Schumacher did. Pretty interesting there. Scrutineering, we don't have any problems with our car. No one else is having any problems with their car. Red Bull have got over their thing. They did, was it 2 races ago? Was it Monaco? Anyway, one of the races, Ricardo got demoted 6 places. Verstappen got demoted 8 places, so they had some sort of nightmare. There was running some really dodgy car there. But at first and second, Charles Leclerc now has a 35-point gap over Mick Schumacher, so it's going to need him to really make mistakes in 2 races for Schumacher to pull at that sort of distance. Meanwhile, we've got a 246-point lead over Red Bull. Williams still sticking to 3rd place here. Mercedes 10 points behind them. McLaren just creeping a little bit further in front of Force India, who are now pulling away from Toro Rosso. Renault, meanwhile, look like they've got 8th place secured. Manor look like they've got 9th place secured, and Racing Engineering, it looks like they're going back down to GP2 to be replaced by either Art, who are winning GP2 by a comfortable margin at the moment, but Sauber are coming back strong, so maybe Sauber might be coming back up next season. There we go, everyone's still happy. We're almost at the point where we can unlock the second mechanic trait. Both drivers still happy. 3.2 million going into the bank. We've now got over 21 million pounds, almost at the 22 million pound mark. So it really needs something special from Schumacher to pull himself back into this title challenge here. 35 points, whilst it doesn't seem a lot, it is quite a lot, but because since our cars finished first and second most of the time, that is 5 races that Schumacher would need to win if Leclerc finished second in all those races just to pull even. It's not impossible for him to do. He's going to have the better car from now on, just to see whether Leclerc can hold on to things with that sort of setup. It's not going to be much of a better car, but it should be enough where they both pull even a little bit more. I want to try and get the cars as even as possible, get them performing as even as enough. Then we've got both cars pretty close to each other. It makes the races a little bit more interesting, not just for myself, but hopefully for you as well. Car condition, race win, hard fought win, and yeah, so that's it. So we've got Spa coming next time. I don't think we've got any sponsors coming due. They're running out in a couple of races. Neither of these we managed to get 5-star sponsors for anyway, so even though we're at 4-star sponsors, we might be able to improve on Oris. Machiavelli must just improve to win a title, so if we win a title with him, it's going to get him to 100% if he wins the title, which will give us 5-star sponsors back next season. Schumacher improving and Leclerc staying low would still keep us at 4 stars, so maybe that is a reason to try and give Leclerc the win. Well, not giving the win, but that would be the upside of Leclerc winning this season, and aim for Schumacher winning next season, give them 1 apiece. Might be the best plan to go with going forward, but anyway, we should be getting the HQ built for the next episode. We've got the staff centre coming up, tour centre, just in 2 days, but we'll be back. Parts that he's got have finally been upgraded, so he does now have a little bit of a faster car than Charles Leclerc, so we'll see how that works out for him. But what he has lost is smoothness. I don't know whether it's dropped any more to the point where it's going to cost him a little bit more on his tyre wear. He's already a little bit worse with his tyre wear than Charles Leclerc. His consistency's dropped 3 points as well. His adaptability's dropped as well, but we haven't put any new cars in these cars for quite a while. The newest part, no, it's not even going in Charles Leclerc's car, is it? And his fitness has dropped from a 13 to a 10, so towards the end of the race his performance is going to drop a little bit more. So if he's chasing Leclerc at the end of the race, he's not going to be able to possibly get past him because his fitness has dropped here. But we're just going to see, he really needs a good start. Over the last couple of races, even more than the last couple of races, he's really slow at getting off the line, which has cost him a lot of wins here. He would possibly be first in the driver's standings if it wasn't for those really bad starts, because they are both in really equal cars. I try not to favour one over the other. There's no real difference between the cars. Obviously one's got a better engine, one's got a better gearbox, but overall they should be doing about the same times. So that way it is just the driver rating, it's their own performance which is going to affect the result. And because Schumacher has been having such bad starts, it has really played into the hands of Charles Leclerc here. If Charles Leclerc can get out in front, his tyres go longer, he's easier on the fuel, so he can save fuel and push a lot more. And that is the reason that Schumacher's so far behind. But anyway, we're going to jump into Monza now. Everyone's happy with the car. If we go here, look, awesome, my car is better than Charles's. So Mick Schumacher's got the slightly better car. 6% happy, 8% happy. That's what we usually get them to, about as close as we can to each other. But this time Schumacher does have the slightly better car. So we'll see if that impacts his performance any. We're going to try something a little bit different from the start. We're going to try going all the reds from the start, see if that gets him a better start. If that doesn't work, then for the next race we're going to go for neutral. We're going to go in the yellows at the start just to see if we can get him off the line any quicker. I don't know if it's any of the stats that impact the start, but there doesn't seem to be anything. Whether focus plays into it a little bit, I don't know, but I thought focus was more for crashes and things like that, or locking up, but you know, smoothness comes under locking up as well. But impacts the driver's mindset. Maybe if the focus is a lot better, he could be classed as making a mistake at the start, couldn't he? Charles Leclerc a little bit better. He's 13 as well, so you would think he'd be making mistakes if that was the stat that affected it. But we're going to jump into Monza now. We're going to run qualifying, practice, all that, and we'll come back once we're in time for the grid just to see where we've finished up, and we'll start the race from there. So here we go with the grid for the 2018 Monza Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc gets pole position once again. Mick Schumacher just over 1/10 of a second behind him, even though Schumacher won the Italian Grand Prix. So hopefully we can get another 1-2 here. The first season we lost out here, just I think we finished second, and Raikkonen finished a lot further behind that. We've got, obviously this season we've got Charles Leclerc. Mick Schumacher doing absolute wonders here in this Ferrari car, this 2018 car. In the downtime, meanwhile, Mick Schumacher's title hopes have been thrown into chaos. He's already so far behind, whereas now he has got back problems, which has affected his rating a little bit. Not as much, but he's lost about half a star. Puts him more back on the track with Charles Leclerc. But he does now have the better car because the parts that he's got have finally been upgraded. So he does now have a little bit of a faster car than Charles Leclerc. So we'll see how that works out for him. But what he has lost is smoothness. I don't know whether it's dropped any more to the point where it's going to cost him a little bit more on his tyre wear. He's already a little bit worse with his tyre wear than Charles Leclerc. His consistency's dropped 3 points as well. His adaptability's dropped as well. But we haven't put any new cars in these cars for quite a while. The newest part, no, it's not even going in Charles Leclerc's car, is it? And his fitness has dropped from a 13 to a 10, so towards the end of the race his performance is going to drop a little bit more. So if he's chasing Leclerc at the end of the race, he's not going to be able to possibly get past him because his fitness has dropped here. But we're just going to see, he really needs a good start. Over the last couple of races, even more than the last couple of races, he's really slow at getting off the line, which has cost him a lot of wins here. He would possibly be first in the driver's standings if it wasn't for those really bad starts, because They are both in really equal cars. I try not to favour one over the other. There's no real difference between the cars. Obviously one's got a better engine, one's got a better gearbox, but overall they should be doing about the same times. So that way it is just the driver rating, it's their own performance which is going to affect the result. And because Schumacher has been having such bad starts, it has really played into the hands of Charles Leclerc here. If Charles Leclerc can get out in front, his tyres go longer, he's easier on the fuel, so he can save fuel and push a lot more. And that is the reason that Schumacher's so far behind. But anyway, we're going to jump into Monza now. Everyone's happy with the car. If we go here, look, awesome, my car is better than Charles's. So Mick Schumacher's got the slightly better car. 6% happy, 8% happy. That's what we usually get them to, about as close as we can to each other. But this time Schumacher does have the slightly better car. So we'll see if that impacts his performance any. We're going to try something a little bit different from the start. We're going to try going all the rest from the start, see if that gets him a better start. If that doesn't work, then for the next race we're going to go for neutral. We're going to go in the yellows at the start just to see if we can get him off the line any quicker. I don't know if it's any of the stats that impact the start, but there doesn't seem to be anything. Whether focus plays into it a little bit, I don't know, but I thought focus was more for crashes and things like that, or locking up, but you know, smoothness comes under locking up as well. But impacts the driver's mindset. Maybe if the Vettel in the Mercedes as usual, followed by Max Verstappen in 5th, Nico Rosberg in the Williams in 6th place, Nico Hulkenberg, Kimi Raikkonen in the Force Indias on the 4th row of the grid, Lewis Hamilton up into 9th in the McLaren ahead of Valtteri Bottas in the William on the 6th row. We've got Daniel Ricciardo in the other Silver Arrow, the Renault making its first appearance on the grid with Fernando Alonso in 12th, Romain Grosjean in the Toro Rosso 13th, his teammate just behind him, Julian Palmer, Marcus Ericsson in the Renault 15th, Pascal Wehrlein in the Manor, the other McLaren of Louis Delatraz 17th, Jean-Eric Vergne in the Manor in 18th, and the racing engineering cars back to the back of the grid, Jack Aitken, Norman Nato 19th and 20th here. So let's just hope, as you can see, we'll just pause it a second, we're going full attack and overtake from the start here to see if that gives Schumacher a little bit of a better start. He's off the line a little better than he has been doing recently. Is he going to be able to get past Charles Leclerc? We're only going to give him a few corners like this, and he's struggling at the moment. Ricciardo challenging, but Ricciardo backs off there. Schumacher manages to stay ahead here. We're going to have to turn down here. We don't want to burn too much fuel. As you can see, Schumacher has already burned off quite a lot more fuel than what Charles Leclerc has done. So we're going to have to try conserve now at some point. So Schumacher with a lot of work to do here to get in front of Charles Leclerc. This is a track we're going to be really quick at because of these. There's only a few tight corners at this track, and over the over high speed and over the straights, we've just got a massive advantage over every other car because we're super quick in a straight line with this Mercedes. We've just got to be careful with the tyre wear here. We've just got to be really careful with the tyre wear on this Ferrari with Schumacher. As we can see, his tyres are wearing down a lot quicker than Charles Leclerc's are doing. We do want to see him through to about the 8th lap. He really needs to get to about the 8th lap. So we're struggling at the moment. The temperature's pretty low. That's why we're struggling to get some life in, to get some heat in these tyres. We're going to have to go medium. We'll go medium as well with Charles Leclerc just to even things up a little bit. We do want to see Schumacher get through to about lap 8. But at the moment he's about 1.5 seconds behind. The Mercedes have turned down their engine, so we should start pulling away from them pretty soon. Here we go. Is Charles Leclerc starting to pull away here? He's not that far ahead, but he's slightly getting ahead. No, Schumacher coming back. They're seeming to keep about his same distance. It's going to come down to what these cars can do in the pits when they come in for their pit stops. Schumacher is going to come in a little bit earlier because his tyres are going to go a little bit quicker than Charles Leclerc's. Maybe that can give him a boost whilst when he comes out of the pits, because he's going to have a fresher set of tyre. He's going to have the fresher set of tyres for a couple of laps over Charles Leclerc. Maybe that can get him the